call the meeting to order for the Townsend Affordable Housing Trust for September 4th, beginning at 1:16 p.m. Could I have a roll call, please?
Dave Worland, present.
Oh, Cindy Bounty present, sorry.
And Veronica Cal present. So, I'd like to announce that the meeting is being recorded. We are not live on Channel 9. And to see if anybody else is recording the meeting. No one
I have a
is?
hidden camera on.
Yeah. All right, chairman's additions and deletions. I don't have anything. Does anybody else have anything?
No, you know what? And probably real quick, I probably shouldn't even bring this up now. Were we supposed to get sworn in?
You two do need to be, but there's a period of time.
Okay, so.
You and Beverly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, me and Beverly.
It's
Okay.
whatever's in the
You might
record.
not be able to vote.
If we have anything to vote on today.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I can look at the email really quick.
I know, I thought I
can't
was gonna
remember
get
the
here
date.
early before the meeting,
Yeah.
but I got held up.
And they're closed.
Oh, they-
Well, they
just
don't
opened.
open that
Oh,
one.
they did just
Yeah.
open. Okay.
Um,
When I came in, they were
oh
closed.
geez, what did it say?
I know.
Reappointment letter. Let's try that.
Let me see if I have it in the
Are we
packet from
voting on
last
anything
time.
today? Are we doing?
We don't have any huge things to vote on, I don't think.
I can, if they're open, I can run downstairs and get sworn in, right? Because I'm just doing, I swear to.
That's true. You can do that if you want.
And by the town clerk. Additionally, town clerk will declare the position vacant if an individual has not been sworn in within 2 months of the effective date of appointment.
Oh, so I'm still good. 2 months, right? What's the effective date? Wasn't it?
August, wait,
July,
yes. No, it's August
Aug-
6th.
August.
Oh, so I'm good.
Yeah, you get
Okay.
2 months.
I can do it on the way
But
out.
you
You
cannot
can't
assume
vote.
your duties and responsibilities.
She can vote within the next
Oh,
2
I
months.
can't assume my
No, you have, go down and get.
Should I run down?
Yeah,
Okay.
just-
Sorry, you guys.
We're doing
Yeah,
the
let's take a 5-minute recess. So,
So I have the minutes here on my, did you print them out too? We don't need to.
I did not, but I can. You
Yeah,
have
well,
5
no, I
minutes.
have 'em right here.
So.
yeah, I don't have them. Did you email them?
She
to
did.
me? I didn't check email this morning.
Yes, I can print them if you'd like.
Yeah, if
Since we
you'd
have
like to
time.
print them, yeah, go ahead and do that.
How was your summer? Did you do anything fun?
Okay, excuse me, are you guys going into a recess now?
Yeah, we're taking 5 minutes, while Cindy gets sworn in.
Okay, I will stop the recording and then we'll resume the recording when you resume the meeting.
Perfect,
Okay,
thank you.
Okay, we are now recording again.
All right, we are back from our recess and all members are eligible to vote. So, all right, so we are right now at 2.1, approving the meeting minutes. So, any comments on the minutes?
No.
I think we're good. So is there a motion to approve the minutes then?
Are we doing both sets? Because I'll make a motion.
I just have July 29th.
Oh, June 17th?
Oh,
Did we not approve them
Oh,
already?
I don't think so
oh.
because I don't know, I forget there was some problem. Didn't we, wasn't there, why June came up? I don't think we approved June.
okay, so we
Did
have June 17th and July
Did we,
29th.
did we?
No,
apply?
June was not approved.
Approved.
because,
Yeah.
Last time I didn't have them ready yet.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't mean that as a thing.
No.
Yeah. So.
Do you have the June one in front of you?
Oh, yes, yeah, yeah.
Well, when you're, are you all set with it?
Yeah.
'Cause I don't, I just have,
I looked at them quick at home. Um,
All right,
well, I don't mind being on the spectrum or being fluid, but I'm Mr. Whirling. It says Ms.
sorry.
But that's okay. I mean, maybe, you know,
I didn't see that.
just saying.
And say there's been a couple spots where I notice it after, when I'm typing quickly, I go through and I look at everybody's last name to make sure that it's spelled correctly, but I don't check the Mr. or Ms. or.
Yeah. We can just
You
say
are Mr.
we can
Whirling
say that
later on.
my mom was at the meeting. Let's just.
And that's in the June set. you said?
June set, yeah. The fourth bullet down.
I can fix that.
Oh, it's also under Haynes Road, Walls Hill Road, the third one.
Yeah,
There's
but on the
some.
forestry one, it's me. So I guess my mom was here also.
The Haynes Road, one, it's under that too, the third bullet down.
See, I will go through and make sure that they were all
Yeah,
correct
just check
before.
for.
Oh, yeah, there I am.
others.
Yep, my mom was under Haynes.
It's so nice of her to attend.
All good. All right. So
Looks good to me.
It looks good to
Here.
me. So is there a motion to accept the June 17th meeting minutes
With those corrections.
with the corrections?
I move to accept the minutes for June 17th
And
with
is
the,
there a
with the
second?
corrections.
I will second them. All right. All those in favor, any further discussion?
No,
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, and how about the July 29th meeting minutes? Is there a motion to accept?
I move to accept the July 29th
Is there a second?
minutes.
I mean, no, yes, I second it. I'm sorry, my brain, I'm a little,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You're in favor, correct?
yes, I'm in
All right,
favor.
all in favor.
I know, and I will get my brain into where I am right now.
All right,
So,
so that's the meeting minutes. All right, moving on to 2.1. The apology from TCAM has been accepted. And I just want to discuss what open meeting law says about recording meetings. My understanding was that if you are recording a meeting, you need to announce to the chair that you are, and that is in fact what's in the open meeting law. So do we have copies of this?
This is on page 18 of the current open meeting law, which is from 2023.
All right, so if you look, this is under public participation. So the second paragraph, any member of the public may make an audio or video recording of an open session of a public meeting. A member of the public who wishes to record a meeting must first notify the chair and must comply with reasonable requirements regarding audio or video equipment established by the chair so as not to interfere with the meeting. The chair is required to inform other attendees of any such recording at the beginning of the meeting. If someone arrives after the meeting has begun and wishes to record a meeting, that person should attempt to notify the chair prior to beginning recording, ideally in a manner that does not significantly disrupt the meeting in progress, such as passing a note for the chair to the board administrator or secretary. The chair should endeavor to acknowledge such attempts at notification and announce the fact of any recording to those in attendance. So, in fact, we were correct as far as the recording of that meeting goes. And we are asking that anybody recording a public meeting, please notify the chair as required by open meeting law.
mhm.
Anything else to say on that?
I do have, it's a little squished, it's been in the bottom of my pocketbook, do you need a
I
copy?
will take it.
From
There-
Trader
It's
Joe's.
almost like
It's a little
there's
squished, it's been
something
in there,
floating
but-
in the air here that's making.
Yeah,
Pollen or
I think it's like,
something.
it's allergies, or it's, you know, I don't.
What do you call
I'll take this one if I can open it. I think it's been there a while.
These are Trader Joe's, but it gets squished in the bottom of my pocketbook. So,
I'm taking it. Did that or I should run out and get.
oh yeah, I have a
Okay,
whole bunch
no,
more. if you
no,
want
this
some.
one,
They're
this
all
one's a
squished.
goner.
Oh, it is?
This
Is
is a
it?
goner.
You can't get the paper off, these don't look much better.
No,
Sorry.
no,
Maybe
they
your
look bad.
Ricola is better.
Would you
So,
like?
Can you give it to Ronnie?
I'll
How about
take it,
try that
thank
one?
All right, so anything else on the open meeting law and recording before we move on?
No, I'm glad that we figured that out, you know.
That it's
for what the-
clarified.
Yeah,
So, all right. Easement review, 0 West Elm Street. Again, I sent that email and I didn't check today to see if you had responded to me.
Yes, they were both, so both the documents that I sent over in the packet, were from, town council. And yes, that is the only document, the map that we have. The
So-
one that is, I believe it's hand drawn, or most
Yeah,
hand drawn.
it's hand drawn. It's the one that we were looking at.
Yeah.
Do you want to screen share
Sure.
the certificate of trust? So the easement that we approved for the water department on the property that we're hoping to develop with Mass Housing Partnership, that easement has never been recorded.
Why?
I know.
It was the water department's
Yeah.
thing, and they just never did.
T-Cam,
So-
can you enable, screen sharing for me,
Okay, stand by.
please? Thank you.
Forgive me, forgive me, what's your name?
Erin Steffield.
Okay, Aaron, my apologies, hold on.
You're okay, thank you.
So we had requested at one of our meetings back in the spring that this get recorded. So that's what this process is now. So Adam, I had talked to Adam about it too, maybe in April when I met with him. So he said the water department had to contact him. I don't know if it was the water department or you, Aaron, who talked to Adam to get this rolling.
That was me, yeah.
Yeah, so Adam said that he had things that could be used to get this process going. So what we need to do is look at the documents here and get it filled in and signed. So that's what we're looking at here. So if you look at this, a certificate of trust has to be recorded. There already is one recorded at the registry. I think that this is just rememorializing it. I don't know what the word is for this, but just a statement of trust that would go in. So it doesn't change any of the terms of the trust.
Okay, this is what we did when we all got reappointed, right? Oh, okay. Right, is that what this is? Wait a
No,
minute,
no, this
I'm
will go to
confused.
the,
This is for the Blood Road property for the easement for the water department.
Okay, that's what I thought we were doing, so, okay,
so Adam says that we have to like put a
oh,
like a
who,
certify the
who
trust.
who we all are on the trust,
Yes.
granting the, okay,
Because the one that was
Okay.
recorded back in 2020 when it was first.
when there were. different
Without
people.
that.
And
without
none
the
of us
people.
were the
Yeah.
people that were
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
trust
okay.
at that time.
All right, thank you, I
It's a total.
thought I was
turnover.
losing my mind, I was like, I don't understand what this has to do with the easement, and I'm like, okay, no, okay, I get it, all right, I'm good.
So
Sorry,
it just says who we are.
yeah. And then,
We're still
then it will
in
be recorded, the
We
easement
are
will be
still-
recorded.
acting as
Yeah.
addressed. That we're allowed to grant the easement
Yeah,
is the way I read it. And,
Slow down.
Sorry.
and
Just trying to see
the
how many pages
property that we are granting the easement on
oh, okay, there
Is-
it is, right there, in number
is
5, yeah, yeah.
registered with the Board of Registry. So these are the ones that we, that this applies to.
I wondered how they got the land. It was a judgment, a tax lien? That's how they got the land, huh?
Okay,
I believe that's the end of it. It's just.
Okay.
And it's really only on that one property because there's two
It's just the
properties
notary.
there.
yeah,
Mhm.
you're.
And then we
who
would all
notarizes
sign.
I believe that the town clerk's office has. a
it? So do we have to sign it in front of the town clerk?
More than likely, yes.
Okay, so when will that happen?
We'll decide that.
Yeah,
Because we're gonna have to fill in,
Why don't we wait until the water department, records the easement? What, does this have to happen
They can't
first?
record this
this will
without
be
this.
concurrently.
Oh, it's
and-
concurrent.
And Adam is the one that will do the,
Okay, Got
recording at the registry. So what we need to do is just read through this, make sure it's okay. I think it is. And, have Aaron fill in the,
did Adam draft this?
yes.
Okay,
we voted this like in the fall, like you weren't here, Aaron. We voted it in the fall. So we have to figure out exactly which meeting that was at for number 5, I guess it is. And then we are the trustees. We were the same trustees back then as we are now. We haven't changed that.
Hmm.
So Aaron would need to put in our names on this. And I should be able to go back and figure out what date it was. I'll get Aaron the date and then we could come in and sign. When is our next meeting?
October, something. 16?
No, we have September dates,
Oh,
next Thursday,
oh, that's a joint meeting, isn't
the
it?
joint
That's a joint
meeting.
meeting, yes.
Right.
And then I thought we had set up a date for the 16th,
I think that's correct.
but, and we'll talk about that more in the executive session. So we could do it on the 16th. We could sign all of this then, because it's a daytime meeting. And, yes, it's a date that Adam is available. We could sign it then, so. So let's go to the next document, which is the, there was the certificate of trust and then there's the declaration of easement or whatever. I don't know that I'm using the right words, but the grant of water and easement, and drainage easement. So Aaron's going to share that one as well. And then there's the handwritten picture, which we've all seen already, the easement plan. So this is the, on the property there on West Elm, a perpetual, irrevocable, and exclusive right and easement in, across, over, under, along, and upon the land identified as the water ease on a sketch plan of land entitled Proposed West Elm Booster Pump, Townsend Water Department. Undated but annexed hereto as Exhibit A. This was the one that was brought to us. It was last summer. It was like August that he brought it in, August or September, and we voted it, I think, in our October meeting, but I'll look to be sure. So he describes that based on that picture. A drainage easement that got added. But it's also in the picture.
Why is there a discrepancy between 2,500 square feet and 2,050 square feet? Why is there a 450 square foot discrepancy between
Well, that's a good
A
question.
and B? Is there any
Um,
reason for that, or is that just a miss?
Is that a inversion of the two numbers?
Yeah. Is there a reason for that further down that I can't see?
Bring up the picture. I didn't print these three.
My guess is that it's just a mistype.
Yeah,
Yeah. But there are two pieces, that's what I want to look at. There are two pieces that he has drawn on the picture.
Yeah, there's 2,050
It's
on the
not
left.
a mistype.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
This is
So
the
that's-
water easement.
So
and
this
is the
actually
drainage
is
easement.
40, it's,
4550 square feet.
yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
I remember when we went there and we said, oh, this is a little bigger than we thought.
Then it was, right,
Okay,
because he had just talked about the water easement. He
yeah,
hadn't talked about the drainage easement.
understood.
But it still provides us with 200 feet of frontage
mhm,
on the main road, which is important for
Very.
us.
Of course.
So, and it is just that one lot. We do have that second lot, in farther down on
Mhm.
Blood Road. So anyway, so we've already given that up. But anyway, that is not a typo. That is what it is.
Yep, got it.
So thanks for checking and thanks for noting that.
Hmm.
So, I missed that completely, but I didn't see anything terrible about this when I read through it the other night. It gives them the right to do whatever they need to do. So it gives them exclusive rights to use that area, proposed pump house and other waterfront infrastructure, as the case may be. So it pretty much grants them all out, whatever you need. I assume they're not putting a 6 foot, 6-story structure on it. A perpetual drainage easement.
yeah, didn't they say it was gonna be like one on West Meadow Road? I think like it's.
Yes, yeah,
So,
that's what we were told.
Hmm.
So is that it, or is there more? Okay, so it gives book and page.
Transfer.
So it's still part of our title, of our property.
Hmm.
We still own the property. We won't do a conflicting easement on that section of the property. That's number 2.
So,
I think this is standard,
yeah, it looks, 3 looks
Yeah.
pretty standard.
So the water
Yeah.
department can transfer if the water department would become something else in the future.
But it's all for the purpose of the water utility.
Right. It's pretty much all inclusive though. But I couldn't think of anything that, we should say, don't do this, don't do that. Could you think of anything, Aaron? Do you think it's pretty broad? But
yeah,
it'll allow us to have water on that site,
Yeah,
is what it does. And we need town water on that site. So,
Big asset.
I wonder
Mm.
if you would want to ask something like, I don't even know if this is possible, but to have sort of right of first refusal for something that goes beyond the scope of general pump house or something. I'm not sure if they wanted to like create something that was a larger scope, or say, this would be a great place for our new,
Water tower.
I know,
No, that's gonna be
because
the top of
that's,
the hill.
yeah,
yeah. I know, because
it's pretty
Because
inclusive.
the easement, yeah, it is pretty inclusive, so, but yeah, you're right, like, maybe there should be something that's just like, this is just this, like, not something else. Because, yeah, what, is there another page after 6? Or is that just the end of it? Oh, yeah, that's just the end of it, okay.
Let me see number
Temporary.
7. Can scroll, yeah.
It's hard for me to imagine anything.
Anything
That
happening
would
there,
really be an issue. I mean, you could ask Adam if he feels that there needs to be more,
You
more,
want to do that?
tightly
Yeah, should I
defined.
Do that, yeah, ask, I think that's a good point, if it's ever more than,
yeah, just
I
because
just-
like
House.
6, the easement is for the benefit of the water department.
I mean, you wouldn't want it to intrude in any way to the enjoyment of people who are living on that adjacent property.
Yeah,
exactly,
That's something of that.
Yeah.
nature. That's kind of the,
yeah,
so Aaron, if you could ask him that, you know,
Mhm.
I mean, pump house and drainage is one thing. Putting in a water treatment plant, even though that's a tiny piece of property, really,
yeah, but,
but still,
yeah.
yeah, but you know, it smells and it's intruding on the enjoyment of
yeah.
Mhm.
people who are living in the adjacent property. So, something like that.
Something like that,
Hmm.
yeah,
I'll bet there's a little boilerplate thing he can just pull right out
and pop in
you
there.
know,
Yeah,
cut
the
and paste.
easement is just for this, it's just for,
So ask him about
Yeah.
that.
But for the sole purpose of,
That would, just to, yes, and to make sure that it doesn't intrude on the enjoyment of the property of the
right,
yeah,
residents.
yeah,
So where we're good with the pump house, this seems to give them a lot of leeway.
well, the easement's granted for the sole purpose of a pump house and then the
Yeah.
drainage thereof. That maybe that's all you gotta say. And then if they wanted to do something else, they would have to come back and ask.
And ask for it.
So
Yeah.
I would keep it as simple as possible.
Okay, so the sole purpose of a pump house, I guess, is what we're looking for.
And
yeah,
drainage.
and
And
drainage.
drainage.
And drainage,
Yeah.
which is what the water department wants, so it
Right.
shouldn't be an issue.
Mhm.
All right. And then the 16th we'll sign, or whenever we next meet at 1:00. All right, so is there anything else we need to do with this? I don't think so. All right, moving on. West Down Blood Road property, type of housing to explore for the site. Discussion on developing an outreach plan for types of housing for the Blood Road plots. We were hoping to hear from MHP by today. Do you
Yeah,
report on that, Erin?
Sure. So I reached out once again, and haven't heard back from, Laura at MHP. But when I do, you all will be the first to know, and we will move on from there. But,
Mhm.
kind of
hopefully
stuff.
we will, be able to continue this soon. I mean, I know that she had to speak with the engineers, and I'm sure that they are busy.
Yeah,
But hopefully we
busy
will be
time
able
of
to,
year.
hopefully we'll be able to get some answers and have something to look at, or at least to consider in
I know.
the short term.
It's been a little bit, I mean, I suppose it's just, I'm sure everyone's busy and then it's August, people are on vacation and, but yeah, well, we'll see what we get.
so slow. It is just, but I've learned over the years that everything goes like this.
Yeah,
Just so slowly.
I know, it just, it's a step at a time.
It'll get done. So,
Oh.
all right, so let's defer this question to our next meeting. We'll just keep it on every agenda until we have reason to change the wording.
Yeah.
So,
That's why they're like, yeah, we do this all the time. This is what we do. Definitely sign up with us. And now we're like, okay.
It's been almost a year.
I know.
It was October
That's
when
right.
you and I went to see their development out in Western Mass,
That's right.
and where they suggested that we contact them.
Yes.
And the contact
Yeah.
took 2 months
Mm.
to get anything rolling, and then it's just been
Glacial.
glacial. But,
I know.
But, you know,
But
with
I know.
I'm
with
not
climate
so
change,
sure it's
glacial
any-
moves faster.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not a no.
it's not a no.
No one has called and said, hey, you know what? You guys have a problem. Yeah.
No,
Right.
we're in
I can
queue,
know.
and unfortunately,
Yeah.
you know, take a number, we're kind of back, we'll get to the front eventually.
Yeah.
And it's true. I mean, what, the minutes from, was it our last meeting? The July, we did have a report. So that was July. This is September now, but it's kind of our August meeting.
Fair, and I did not read the whole piece on the ADUs, but I assume that you might have some full synopsis on it. Did you look through it?
So,
I didn't look through all 150 pages, but
But you get the gist of it.
yeah.
There was a radio show I was listening to on my way to Native today, all about the ADUs. But they were talking about Chattanooga, Tennessee, and other places. This is a thing now. It's a very, very big thing everywhere.
Yeah.
well, when I went to that thing in June,
Mhm.
I don't think it had been quite signed yet,
Yeah,
but,
it had been in discussions. Yeah.
right. But what they said is that you really wanted to keep your accessory dwelling units and your affordable housing piece separate.
Okay,
So I'm good with that. But do you want to talk about the ADU bylaw? So we're moving on to 2.5, new state law regarding accessory dwelling units, ADUs, and affordable housing. So,
So yeah, so it's a very long law that was signed in. It's, yeah, something like 150 or 200 pages. I did not read it all. I read quite a bit of it. And in fact, there's something that I had to explore a little bit more, but we might have funding coming for creating affordable housing here in Townsend. I read a single line in a very long section that said 250,000 was coming to Townsend.
we do, it's a bond bill.
Okay.
And actually, I have set up a meeting with Margaret Scarsdale for September 10th.
Okay.
I was gonna attend that to discuss that and how that works,
Mhm.
that process. And also, I mean, this is kind of conflating the next, further down, the affordability piece in 2.7, but also how we can change the community that we're in for affordable, affordability. But we'll talk about that with 2.7.
Okay.
But yes, there's 250,000 for each of the
MBTA community,
no, each of the communities in Margaret Scarsdale's district.
okay,
She managed to see that we were all going to be afforded that. With, I don't know how it fits with the bylaw, but it's part of that deal. And so each of the communities out here that she, so Lunenburg, Pepperell, Townsend, is she Ashby? I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ashby, Groton,
I think she is.
that we will all be getting 250,000, which is a drop in the bucket when you're developing, but
It's something.
But
it's something
It's something.
that we would not otherwise have.
Yeah.
So, I'm grateful for that.
Mhm.
I attended her office hours for two reasons. One was to find out what she knew about this, which you'll get later. And also how we go about, how does that 250,000 work? Is it being put in the general fund and then we have to see at a town meeting that it gets transferred? How is this going to work? Into the trust account? Will it be
But it's
transferred?
specifically for affordable housing, right?
It is.
That's how it's listed in the
Yeah.
law, yeah.
Okay, so that's just a practical matter
Right.
of how the money flows. But it doesn't go into a general fund to be used for anything. It has to be used
Well-
specifically for that. I'm asking.
That's the question. You would think that it
Well, when
would.
you meet with,
Okay.
when you meet
I
with
want
Margaret
details.
Scarsdale, I would ask the question.
Yes, that's
She probably
exactly why
knows.
we set up the meeting.
Yeah, because this is gonna be pertinent to every town that she's earmarked that money for, right? They're all gonna ask the same question.
More than likely,
Right.
yeah. So,
I know, you would think if it was for affordable housing, it would go to affordable housing, but yeah, you're absolutely right.
I mean, if you don't have a trust, where does the money go? Before our account was established, a year ago,
Yeah,
where would that money have gone? If it comes to a town, it's going to the general fund.
Mhm.
So what is the mechanism?
maybe that's what
To
I'm
get
asking.
it where
It's
you
a
need it
practical
to be.
issue that needs to be
Exactly.
addressed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, and I want the town to have their eyes open and be aware, because affordability in Townsend gets lip service and not much else. So that's me editorializing, but that's what I see. So, go ahead.
So
State
for
law.
the Affordable Homes Act, which is the legislation that was just passed, the big thing for, that we're looking at is the ADUs, which are now, it's sometime, I want to say it's like February 15th or something like that. It will be, ADUs are allowed by right in any single family district, residential district. You are only allowed to put one by right. So you may not, put 4 on your property or something like that. They're limited to either 900 square feet or half of the primary residence's square footage, whichever is smaller. And it must have, a kitchen, bathroom, bedrooms, things like that. So you can't just have a bedroom with a bathroom or something like that. It has to be someplace that somebody could actually reside.
Yeah.
And this does go over Townsend's ADU bylaw, which means that we would be referring to the state for going forward for the ADU bylaw. We will likely be looking at changing Townsend's zoning bylaw, to either say, look towards the state zoning bylaw for ADUs by right, or we will be sort of reflecting it back into the zoning bylaw, Townsend zoning bylaw.
So I attended the planning board meeting. Do you want me to talk now?
Sure.
A couple weeks ago, where they took the 10% out of the MBTA bylaw. And they discussed the ADU bylaw, and they, the question was, and it was the MRPC guy who was there, are they going to allow more than one unit? And the answer was yes.
Will Townsend.
Okay.
On a single family unit. So I could put, I'm just, so make sure I understand this. It's, everyone's allowed one on a single family unit to put in an ADU
By right, yes.
by right. It's 900 square feet maximum.
Or, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or half the.
Right.
But that's the most.
Whichever is
900
smaller,
is-
right?
Um,
If you have a 4,000 square foot house,
You could do
half
it.
is 2,000.
right, so
Right.
You
you could do
could do
900.
2,000?
No, you could do
You could do
900,
900.
whichever is small.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so
So you were right.
900 max.
Yes.
Okay,
Correct.
all right. And Townsend would let me do 2? I could put 2?
By special permit. So you'd have to go and say, I want to do a second or a third,
Yeah,
but you'd have to go and do a special permit for that, I believe.
yeah,
I heard it
decided.
differently.
Okay.
But that it could be. I haven't gone to a planning board meeting since. So I don't know if they've changed that.
Yeah, it could also be that if we change the zoning bylaw for the ADUs, it could be added in differently, that for instance, in Townsend, you're allowed 2 ADUs by right, or, it could be something like that.
yeah. As long as the state is saying you can have one,
Correct.
and then, but they don't care if Townsend says we want to have 2, by right.
Yeah, I think
or-
if they said we
Yeah.
want to expand this so that more people can have more affordable housing options, because the idea is that ADUs, while they're not affordable, they are less expensive to build because they are smaller, and therefore can be people who are starting out or people who are looking to, have their parents move in with them, but they don't want to be in the same home. They want a little bit of separation. It provides more affordable options, but little a, not big A, affordable.
But here's the thing, and I didn't let you finish on the ADU. The primary residence or any of the residences do not need to be owner occupied. So,
Wait, they don't have to be owner occupied?
correct.
So they can be rentals, is that what
They
you're
can
saying?
all be rentals, the main house and however many ADUs as the town decides
Wow.
can go on the property and fit, given that we don't have, septic. Everybody's private septic. We don't have the town sewage system. As many as you can fit, they can all be rentals, which is my problem with that bylaw, if I remember right.
Well, as a practical matter, most of the town is on septic, right?
The
All
whole
of the
town is-
town.
No. Oh,
Yeah.
the whole town?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, that's right,
there's
I'm sorry,
no-
I'm confusing, I'm
sewage.
confusing us with the neighboring town. So that being said, wouldn't that self-limit?
You would
One would
think,
think,
it would.
yes.
Yeah, you'd have to change your septic if you wanted to put in multiple, but I think I want to double check on what you just said about the primary residence, because I know that there was a couple of different sections.
Mhm.
One was specifically about communities that have been deemed like, for lack of a better term, like vacation communities, if it's like Martha's Vineyard. They don't necessarily have
That's-
to.
That's
Which now
Airbnb.
The town.
That's to do the
But they are-
Airbnb
everyone's on
thing.
septic.
And they were
Okay,
trying to make it so that these ADUs did not become Airbnbs, vacation rentals. So there are certain communities that are called out
Yes.
in there, so that they will have housing available for workers in the community.
But I think that there was, I'm not finding it very quickly, but I thought I saw something about how, oh wait, maybe I may just find it.
I read, I didn't read the whole bylaw, I read Adam's
Yeah.
thing.
It says, under the legislation's amendments to GL 40A3, aka the Dover Amendment, no zoning ordinance or bylaw shall prohibit, unreasonably restrict or require a special permit or other discretionary zoning approval for a single accessory dwelling unit or the rental thereof in a single family residential zoning district. The new legislation also removes the municipality's authority to impose an owner occupancy. Okay, yeah, you're right. Requirement on an ADU. Oh, on an ADU in a single family residential.
I don't, my understanding is that you don't have to, because the owner occupied, the owner doesn't have to be in the ADU.
Right.
For ours, the owner had to be somewhere on property. But if I'm remembering, let me find this,
I know.
it's gone. You don't,
You don't
these
have-
can be, we
And
can
now
become a
I'm gonna
rental
sound
community.
like a NIMBY person, and I'm gonna sound like the antithesis of affordable housing. But you could have people that come in and buy a house and that's on 3 or 4 acres of land or 3 acres of land, and they could put up turn everything into a rental thing, because there aren't any rentals in towns, and that's one of our things, and I don't know, that's kind of something to think about. I don't know how I feel about that, like if that's like a good thing or not a good thing, or,
Well, this is what they were talking today about on the radio, was that, there's a supply and a demand issue, and, you have to address both, and you have to somehow incentivize both, but, I think historically, the rental market has been addressed more than the construction, that the supply end has not been subsidized or incentivized as much as the rental side.
that there's been more things for rentals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so they're trying, it's a balancing act that the government's trying to do.
Yeah,
There isn't enough housing, period.
yeah. Clearly
And
that's-
so it creates this vicious circle where if there's not enough housing, then the rents go up because there's limited housing, rents get more
Yeah.
expensive. With the interest rates, mortgage rates, and the construction not being subsidized, the people can't afford to buy homes.
Yeah,
So the homes that exist are limited, so the rents get higher and higher, and then people have less money that they can save to be put down a down payment to buy a house.
yeah,
I mean,
I
I've heard
know,
there's a
it kind of-
proposal now to give
kind of goes around.
$25,000 on the down payment. I don't know, I'm not sure, there's gotta be a lot of fine print with that.
yeah,
But it sounds like a sort of a good idea, but I don't know if it'll get, just for first time buyers. Have you heard that? This is an idea that's being proposed.
Hmm. Although-
I don't think it's a bad thing to encourage more housing when you get on a practical level, like in this town, because what you're saying, yeah, there could be a gazillion of them, but because everybody's on septic, I think it
I know,
presents
limited.
a self-limiting kind of deal,
Mhm.
because it gets very, very expensive unless, I don't know how the zoning works. I mean, could you put on an acre of land, could you put like half a dozen ADUs? And then tie them all into one,
I know.
6 bedrooms,
If you were doing 1-bedroom ADUs and just, and.
I mean, is
really-
that how you read that? Could you do that?
So I mean,
Yes.
it would depend on, how the single family, because it has to be attached to single family residence, right? So you can't have just,
Oh, and it's done by, wait, is it done by bedrooms or bathrooms? Why can't I remember when I built my
Well,
septic
septic is,
system?
I mean, your septic system is set up for like 2, 3, 4, 5
It's bedrooms, right?
So that's the single family house, right? Say your house has, what, 3, 4 bedrooms? And You've
Yeah,
got a septic system for that. Now
yeah,
you're gonna add an ADU. You can only tie that in if you have it maxed out, what you've
what I
got.
have on my septic
And if you've
system.
maxed that out, then that one has to have its own system, or you have to take the system you have and
upgrade it.
upgrade it.
Upgrade it.
And
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I say it's somewhat
I think that would
self-limiting.
control it.
It could
Yeah,
also be that in, in Townsend, if we decided to allow more than one ADU by right, or it could be, it's, one ADU by right, and then up to, I'm completely making this up, but, up to 6 by special permit or something,
yeah,
these kinds of things, it would be a longer process, and so fewer people would do it. But it also might create the incentive for people to create more of that housing, because we do have a lack of housing stock.
yeah,
And I mean, the lot sizes here are huge compared to a lot of other places. And so, you could have an ADU on your property and never see it if you have enough
If you have
land.
enough- that's true, that's true.
You wouldn't
know.
have to then split your lot or anything, but you
Yeah.
would maybe be able to provide housing to a family friend, or put it out for rent on the open market and, get
Yeah.
rental that way.
Mhm.
But these are different things that can be built into your zoning bylaw. And so I think if Townsend were to create we're going to have to create something different for the ADU bylaw, it would have to be a discussion, and I'm sure that the planning board and zoning would like to hear what the trust thinks about that, and what's,
Yeah,
have that sort of longer discussion about, how can we make sure that we are providing small A affordable housing,
Yeah,
or at least more housing stock.
So, all right, let me ask you this. I guess I sort of know the answer, but if you have you need 200 feet of frontage for a single family home, right? And then you put, pick your number, six ADUs on that property. That still is okay with just 200 feet of frontage?
Yes.
mhm,
Is that what this
Yes.
says?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's not based on your frontage, it's based on, at least for this one by right, it does not matter, you don't have to have additional frontage.
One, right.
Right, for
What
the
if-
one by right.
Right, now what do you want?
I don't think.
So now you want a special permit for 3.
Right,
It's
I,
200,
that might be something that has to go
yeah,
and have a longer discussion about, because,
Yeah.
yeah, if you need, for instance, 3 extra driveways or something, then obviously you need more frontage in order to put them in somewhere.
Yeah.
So I think these are all things that are going to have to come up and.
yeah.
Well,
have a
you can
discussion
use the same driveway. Doesn't it say that there's no additional requirements for parking? We had parking requirements in our ADU bylaw, but I thought I read somewhere
about. I think
where-
it's within a half mile or a mile of transit, but there's no additional parking requirements.
Where can I find that bylaw?
No additional parking spaces are required if the unit is within a half mile of transit. There can be no requirement for more than 1 additional parking space per unit otherwise.
Okay.
Half mile of transit, meaning with a half mile of a road? What is that?
No,
Of what?
bus line, train.
Oh, well, that's self-limiting right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, but does it count that we have, service now, MBT, the Montechusett Regional Transit
You have to be
Service?
within a half mile of where
It
it's.
picks up, which
Yeah.
is Town Hall.
That's pretty
It's, you
okay.
have to call to get it now,
Oh.
if you need it, you have to call.
Usually they
Right.
will, and it could be that, this is obviously just Adam's summary of it.
Mhm.
It could be that it's in the longer legislation that it might state like fixed route, or if it is,
Train station.
right, yeah, it might call out specific transit options.
Hmm.
Because typically when they say transit, they mean
Public
train,
transit.
right, exactly.
yeah. I think Title V is gonna be a big issue with this. And I think that they probably wrote this for the whole state, so
They
it's
did,
written
yes.
for cities and towns that all have public sewer. Because I think Title V for a town like Townsend is definitely going to limit this, so,
Yeah, because you still have to go through and get all the proper permitting. It's not, just because it's by right does not mean that we sweep all permits under the rug,
Yeah.
right? So you still have to go through health, you still have to go through building, you still have to have a lot of checks and
Yeah.
balances and this.
But there will be an uproar because I saw this on conservation with approval not required. What do you mean I can't put my house there? This is approval not required. I don't need your approval. And people will say the same thing with by right. I'm allowed to have this. What do you mean I have to put in a septic system to support it? It's by right, therefore it is my right.
It's your right to poison my
people do-
water supply? No, it's not.
But that's what we will hear and
Okay.
things will go in. That's all I have to say.
Devil's advocate.
Anyway, so
boy,
The only-
yeah,
the only thing, and is this in the whole law? I can't find it in here. Is it owner occupied or not owner occupied?
It doesn't seem to matter.
That's the way I read it when I looked.
If you're trying to encourage more housing, then it's gonna be either way. Right? I mean, if the idea of this is to
If-
create more housing, then it doesn't have to be
Then-
owner occupied. And supposedly, if there's enough units, then there's enough competition, it'll keep the rents reasonable market, they won't be crazy. Cause now there's so many of them.
That's the theory.
That's the theory.
Hmm.
I don't know that that's really gonna matter.
Or
I
Take a
think,
long time for.
I think though that I don't quite understand why we are even talking. Okay. Are we still on the state law regarding ADUs and affordable housing?
I think it's a lot of food for thought. I don't think we know enough to really
Yeah,
to have I'm just not sure how we can take advantage of that yet.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's mathematically impossible for this town to ever get 10% of housing without inclusionary zoning, without having 10% required in MBTA communities. It is mathematically impossible to get 10% of homes in
Without-
Townsend on the state housing inventory for affordability. It's just mathematically impossible. We don't have any inclusionary zoning. I'm kind of moving on, aren't I?
I was gonna say, you're nicely segueing into the.
Into 2.7. I'm kind of skipping over 2.6, so let's come back to 2.6 and go to 2.7. So even though you read in the minutes that the affordable housing 10% was included in the MBTA bylaw, they took it out for exactly what we're talking about, to provide more stock, that we'll get more houses built if we don't have an affordability piece to it. Well, that's cool, and maybe that's true. Oh, and the houses in Townsend are already affordable, which they are not anymore. You used to be able to make that case, but you can't anymore. So I have some stuff to give to you. So,
I think I already gave it to you guys.
all right.
Yeah, I have, did I have more copies? Or just all-
Okay,
No, that's
so a couple things. So this is affordability. It was actually, Fran and Broughton's housing person who
Oh,
worked these
yeah,
up
yeah,
for me. So for, if you look at these two, affordability, 3-bedroom house in Townsend, using the index that we have, and this other paper is the indexes, which we'll look at, is 336,750 for a 3-bedroom home. And right now, I mean, I've been looking on on Zillow, and we don't have any affordable houses in Townsend anymore.
Have they sold any of that 3-unit piece on Route 13?
They dropped the price to 479,055 and over.
yeah.
Have they sold
One of
one?
the units might appears to be occupied. There are 2 of them listed on Zillow, and they dropped it from 499 to 479, which for,
And how many square feet are those?
I think they're
1,200?
1,200 finished
Yeah,
with the option of more. The basements, the walkout part in back is unfinished.
okay.
But it's, the one floor, I think, is 1,200.
All right. So, you
And
know,
they have not sold. But I'm told that they will sell and that people from Boston will come and buy them. Because being a Townsend person who's 55 and over, there's no way I'd sell my house and move there and pay
I know.
500,000
I
or
think
even
they're both still-
480,000.
no, I mean, I look
For
at that and say, if that's true, then my house is worth $2 million, maybe 3. You know, it's-
I know, but I don't know. That's
No,
kind of hard.
But
um,
the pricing is too high.
Yeah.
And, and there's a second set, that was just permitted of 55 and over, market rate housing.
Yeah,
Same area of Route 13, a little bit farther, closer to town. And, if the selling target price is 500,000, they're not gonna sell to the people in Townsend. They might sell to other people, but not to people who are already. Yes.
Well, and now when do you think the little village they're building now in Groton is going to be ready? 5 years, less?
The one at the old,
Yeah, the checking account, check making.
Oh,
yes,
Nebs,
Nebs. No, deluxe.
oh, deluxe, it used to
Yeah.
be Nebs, then it
I
was
mean,
deluxe.
that's
yeah.
going to be like a village, like
Oh,
within.
yeah.
It's like 250 units.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, that, I wonder how, because I'm sure a portion of that, a good portion of that is gonna be affordable housing.
Correct. And, okay, so let's look to this table then.
Okay,
All right, so affordability in Townsend. So Townsend is in the Boston, Cambridge, Quincy. So our low income limit for 4-person is 130,250, and that's what these numbers were done in. All right. Groton and Pepperell, Tingsboro, Westford are in the Lowell, Mass region. And there, it's 97,800. So the income limits are way lower, which means the affordability, the amount that you have to pay for an affordable house will be lower. It will be cheaper if you live in Townsend to buy an affordable home. If it's 55 and over and you want affordable, it will be cheaper to go to Groton to buy a home than it will be to stay in Townsend to buy the same house or the same, because of this affordability index. You know, you will pay less in Groton
This was
than you
done
would
by,
have to pay for affordability.
the affordability guidelines were done at the federal level, right, by HUD?
They are done at the federal level.
so how does HUD figure,
And on the back
how do
of
they
here-
group these places together? It's beyond me.
So
Well,
you mentioned
Cindy
that
had an idea.
I have an idea. I think it's because they use the registry of deeds. And Townsend,
Middlesex County,
yeah, Middlesex County, but for the registry of deeds, our deeds go to Cambridge. Because
right,
years ago, they followed the railroad line and our deeds went to Cambridge, and that's why we're in the Southern Registry of Deeds. Groton, Pepperell, those towns go to Lowell.
Because the train
so
line went to Lowell.
The train line went to Lowell. So I think HUD sat down and what the heck do they know about the minutia of all these towns, and was like, okay, Central Registry, I mean, the Southern Registry of Deeds, we're gonna lump all these people together. These are their.
can you bring that up when you talk to Ms. Scarsdale?
I intend to. I'm providing this. So here's metropolitan areas,
This is sort of-
classification of
Oh,
metropolitan
really?
areas from the HUD website. Or I at least found the reference. This is chapter 13. And they do it by commuting, where they think you're commuting to, which fits Cindy's theory of trains. Because they probably
Yeah.
figured, oh, if you live on that train line, you're commuting there. If you live on that train line, you're commuting there. And that's not at all how it works here
Yeah.
anymore. I mean, maybe it did in 1920.
Yeah,
But it
But not
doesn't
now.
now, and they haven't changed it, and it's also
well, that needs to be changed.
Census Bureau. My guess is, so anyway, on the back of one of these pages is who you want to call. And so I called Juana Matthias, Robert Forti, and Rhonda Siciliano, and left a message, and they have not called me back. They were out of the office when I called them, not this past week, but the week before. They were out of the office and would return calls when they came back, and they probably thought I was in that case when I said I was, the chair of the Affordable Housing Trust, and really wanted to understand why we were classified in the Boston, Cambridge, Quincy metropolitan area,
I know,
when
it's
Groton
really-
and Pepperell are in the Lowell area, and we're farther west. So could you please just call me back? And of course, they never did. So I can copy this for you too. But that is why I went to Margaret's office hours and set up the meeting for the 10th.
They should also look at median income. I'll bet you Groton has a
exactly.
higher median income.
Oh, it's way
than
higher. I
Townsend.
have those numbers. I have
Yeah.
those numbers somewhere. I did it.
Yeah, I'm just saying that,
All of
let's look
those.
at that too.
All of those towns, Tingsboro, Westford, Dunstable's in that area.
Sure,
Groton, Pepperell are all higher than us, all of them.
Yeah,
And their median income, their median home price, all higher than us.
right.
We're way lower. And yet, affordability, if you look at the cost of an affordable home, you are better off going to Groton than you are looking in Townsend
yeah.
by the affordability index.
Hmm.
So anyway, we really need to have that changed. And the MRPC person who was at the planning board meeting that I attended, where they took out the 10% affordability from the MBTA community's bylaw, he said, well, you guys should really look and see if you can get your metropolitan area changed, your designation changed. And he suggested that we look at Worcester, us and Ashby, because it really is an
Oh,
issue.
yeah, like more in line like the Lunenburg.
But Worcester is the same as Lowell. The numbers, if you look at Worcester, which is the bottom of the back side, the numbers are the same as Lowell. So I'm good going either way. It really doesn't matter, but, anyway. Lowell and Worcester are equivalent as far as numbers go.
Yeah,
And so we really need to be in a different area. Affordability here is way higher.
I know, because for
Um,
Townsend to be on par with Cambridge, Newton, these other.
It's absurd.
It's crazy.
Why not? It would
It
make
doesn't
more
mean
sense
anything
for Westford and Groton and
to be
Dunstable
in those
and
towns.
Tingsboro to be in line with Cambridge than
Yeah.
us.
Mhm.
Really
So
interesting.
anyway, I don't know what can be done about it, but something needs to happen. And if they do it at the census break, it was 2020 was
Oh,
the
yeah.
census 2030. And that gives us 6 years because it takes that long to get anything done. Don't sound negative, I really do. But it's the truth. So that's this piece of it. And so now Erin has another, I'm handing off to you
Uh-oh.
for that. But I was very upset that the planning board took that out. And it was actually Chaz, throwing Chaz under the bus here, who suggested it, if you watch that video, that we not put an affordability piece in it. I don't know why he did that, but I think it was because of what you were talking about earlier, Dave, that volume of housing. That volume of housing will cause prices to be less. And that is true for a while.
But it takes a long time.
Well, for what?
To have the housing stock go up significantly enough to have that impact.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All I know is because of Timberley Park, when that was developed in the 70s, early 80s, all right, that caused, that provided a fair amount of housing in Townsend
Mhm.
that people could afford. But that's no longer the case. Those houses now cost in the 400
Yeah.
to 500 range. That's what they're selling for now, which, looking at this, 336,000 as being affordable is no longer
Doesn't
affordable for people.
Mm.
So it is true that we used to be able to say, well, Townsend is an affordable community. It's not anymore. It certainly doesn't cost as much as the houses in Groton, but it's no longer affordable for people with normal incomes, 130 teachers' salaries.
I know, because nothing is.
Nothing.
I mean, you
is.
look at Littleton, the house is $1 million. So I don't know, as you get more affordable housing in, say, Littleton, Westford, Groton, what does that do to our housing stock? Does it make the
It
price
put-
go up or does it make the price
When
go down?
plateaus eventually.
Because then people are gonna say, well, gee, I can go to Groton and get a house here, and not have to drive all the way out to Townsend. I'm just,
If you
Thinking this
qualify
in my
income
head.
standard wise, yeah.
yeah,
So
because will that bring our prices down in
it
Townsend?
may, and I think that's what they were banking on when they decided to take out the 10% affordability. Where my thought is, okay, there's a state housing index. Your town is supposed to have 10% of its housing stock as affordable. We never will, unless we're going to start building projects, which we never will. So,
Or redefine affordable.
or redefine affordable.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is.
Exactly.
Which is.
That's the other option, is to redefine affordable. But if we don't have houses that are built as affordable houses, that can be put on the state housing inventory, even if our pricing is affordable, we still don't meet that mark, that 10% affordability mark, and we never will. Because MBTA communities is such you can put what? How many houses on an acre, supposedly? If you don't have 10% and the rest and you only have 2 to 4% of your housing stock on the affordable index, it's mathematically impossible to ever get there. The 30% or 40% of whatever we develop will never meet the mark once MBTA communities by right housing starts going in. It never will. So why are we even talking, this is for the housing authority joint meeting, why are we even talking about maybe sometime being able to manage affordable housing? We're never going to have it. So why are we spending time worrying about that? If we do have affordable housing that we need to manage, we should contract that out, as opposed to in our little town trying to set up a system to manage it. It doesn't make sense. And where I'm still thinking it's worth us developing affordable housing, because it is, it's not worth us worrying about that state housing index. I have to just let that state housing index go. And if 40B development comes in, 40B development comes in. That's all there is to it. And maybe the planning board will have a backbone enough to require a certain percentage to be affordable. Because 40B housing is not in and of itself affordable housing, I don't believe.
I think you have to have a section or a
10%.
percentage of it be affordable.
Yeah, do you?
I believe so. I'm not 100% on that, but I.
On a 40B?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But even then, it's, we'll never meet that mark. I don't think. Not to be negative, usually a Debbie Downer negative, but.
Well, you're being realistic.
But that's the way it is. And so I don't want to spend a lot of time spinning wheels about the state housing inventory anymore. I don't even want to hear about it, because why? Why are we even talking about it?
Do you think that's unique to Townsend? Can't be. There must be other communities
Well, there's
that are in the
probably
same,
other communities, but
have the
I
same
don't know.
issue.
I queried the housing network, and in Bedford, they're way above 10% for the state housing inventory, because they've been building houses that are, and they did not put that 10% on, because they're so far above on their percentage that it really doesn't matter. And so they figured, okay, forget about it, But here in Townsend, we don't have inclusionary zoning. So I'm handing over to Erin. We have elective inclusionary zoning. So-
Yes. So I'll bring this up so you all can see it.
And nobody since the late 1980s, when this was put in place, has elected to put in affordable housing. The only affordable housing units are in 40Bs.
Oh, really?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is our zoning bylaw. So we have a little thing on
Can
the
we
side, but
get
that's
that
okay.
out of
Here.
the way? Maybe shrink it down or something? Yeah.
Yeah, so this is our zoning bylaw. This is section 148-48, the affordable housing conditional density bonus. And basically what this says is that there's an opportunity for anybody who is doing an open space preservation development or an open space multifamily development to have 30% affordable, but it's not required. It is allows for what's the right word here?
Discretion on the part of the planning board.
Yes, they.
Mhm.
Yeah, like it says here, through a partial relaxation of requirements. So it's basically saying we'll make it a little bit easier for you to do your developments if you add in this 30% affordable. However, it's never been used, so obviously it's not that great of an incentive, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking a lot about this after Veronica and I chatted for quite
I was
a while.
ranting.
I wasn't gonna say that. And so if it's never been used, then perhaps we should take a look at it and see if we can change it to make it something that's, or rather suggest changes to see if it's something that we can change to make it more useful. So the thought is that perhaps we say that it is mandatory, right? So take out the word conditional and say mandatory, which is a scary word, and it doesn't necessarily have to be 30% affordable, because I think 30% is a big number.
I do too.
I'm good with 10%.
I agree.
I really am good with 10%.
Because if we said, 10% is mandatory, and this is, I think, the thing that, because I was looking at a bunch of different towns that have inclusionary zoning, and something that they will do if they don't, sometimes they'll have really good like density bonuses and things like that. So you can, if you have a 3-story max in town, they'll allow you to go up to 4 or 5 if you're providing your affordable housing, or you can have a better density or a higher density on your property. Or we could look at doing something like, say, if you cannot or don't want to have any affordable housing as part of your development, then you can also provide payment in lieu of affordable housing. And we would also look to add to those 2 different types of developments the age restricted, because that already has a higher density and is another form of development that is allowed in town.
And I'm good with that. I think that would be reasonable. I mean, especially
I'd talk to a developer and see if that was something that was enough of an incentive to make a difference. I mean, it does sound reasonable.
But the developer for the new 55 and over, I went to the planning board meeting in June, I think it was, and requested that one of the units be an affordable unit.
That's 30%, right? Which one are you talking about?
The new one, it's 8 units.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the one on
It's 8
13.
units,
Okay.
and one of them be affordable. And I was told that it wasn't worth it, that it couldn't be developed for that. The planning board had no interest in making it affordable. People from Boston are going to come and buy these, I think was the quote. I said, who's going to do it in town? Nobody that lives in town will be buying those. And the word from the planning board, also from one of the meetings I was at, was that they are there to make things easier for the developer. So where it's a good idea to maybe talk to a developer, you have to talk to a developer who has
whose bottom line might not just be dollar signs.
Right, who might have the community in mind. It's kind of a terrible thing to say.
Yeah, well, it is hard, because for the developer, I mean, they're in this business to make money. This is their business.
Right.
And it's hard to build affordable housing because everything's so expensive, so I don't know, do you put it on the developer, or do you, although for something like this, like if you say, okay, we'll give you this land and we're gonna give you these options to be denser or to have more units on this acreage, maybe they would go for it, but
that's how I feel, because otherwise, without invoking the 55 and over bylaw for that property, you get one house. It's 3 acres. You get one house. And the house is already existing. What?
And 6 ADUs.
Well, now, but, you know,
You
yeah.
get one.
And,
Okay. With the possibility of 5.
and it's just all kind of, I mean, I think we need a philosophy in this town of are we or are we not interested in affordability for the residents of the town? Are we or are we not? Because what I see from the planning board is we are not. So, where I back in the 80s, I agreed with the percent, you know, we were giving a gift with an open space preservation development or a multifamily. You didn't need 2 acres or 3 acres. You could do it on 1 acre, you know,
Right,
and so you get more houses.
right, but build a ball field for us, or,
Or
throw in-
you have to keep some of it open
Yeah.
for whatever.
Yeah.
But this is in place because the town voted down the bylaw with the affordable units back in 1987, 88 timeframe. That was voted down, and this was well, you know, we can do it this way. If you ask the developer, they're going to say no, because the bottom line is it's a business and they are there to make money. So how does the town develop affordable housing? What is our philosophy as a town? So
That kind of segues to the CPA. We're not there yet, right?
no, we're not there yet. We'll come back to that
Okay.
one. But anyway, so I think an affordable housing density bonus, that's inclusionary zoning. 10%, or you pay a certain amount, you know, into and I'm sure there's some way to figure out what that amount is. I mean, I'm certainly not prepared to say what that would be, but something into the Affordable Housing Trust for development of affordable housing.
So this is something that the trust is interested in, because obviously this is a much bigger conversation, right? And something that we're going to have to think through. But if this is something we want to pursue, I can finish doing more of my research, because I've only looked at a few different towns and their zoning bylaws which have inclusionary zoning, and then we can come together, agree on, you know, what we like, and bring it to the planning board and have a joint meeting to sort of say, okay, we've done the research, we've figured out, you know, what we think would work. We understand that, you know, the MBTA, you felt that the MBTA bylaw was not the place to have this. How about we beef up what we have and make it so that it is more useful for the town, I guess, to get affordable housing.
Right.
Yeah. That sounds like a good idea. I think I'd be on board with it. Yeah. You think? What do you think?
Yeah.
You think? I know, I think it sounds good. But I would get rid of the 30%. That's scary.
Yeah, I think 30% there is too high. I
Yeah.
do. I mean, for us, because we are developing, that's one thing. But
Yeah.
for something like this, I'm good with 10%. I mean, if you don't do that, you will never get your 10. I'm not even talking about that housing index anymore. What good is it? Doesn't apply here.
Yeah, you gotta have
It's not a
some,
thing.
but there has to be something, yeah. So, all these things, boy, oh boy.
I think, yeah, I'm on board. Do we need
I-
a motion for this or?
I don't know, do we?
Probably more clear cut if you have a motion. Otherwise, I can just.
Okay, I move
Go ahead.
that I guess my motion would be to have Aaron take a look at wording for an inclusionary bylaw for the zoning that allows for greater density than 2 and 3 acres.
In
housing.
similar communities or?
I think maybe what we should do is, as you suggest, take a look at some of the other towns and what they
Yeah.
have. I mean, I just jotted down quickly Groton, because I know they must have something going on over there with this new development. Leominster, Fitchburg,
I know Dunstable has inclusionary zoning.
Okay, I mean,
That I know.
I think, take a look at that and let's revisit this next meeting and then make the motion, because I think there's really nothing that
It
we
was, it
can,
was just a motion to direct Aaron to look into beefing that up.
do we need to do a motion?
You don't have to.
Okay, then we do.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you'll look into similar towns.
Let's look into that and
and see
then
what
let's
they are.
revisit this and then we can talk.
I think too that when you bring, like, for instance, I have Hadley, Mass right here. When you bring other places like this and say, we're not the only town that's trying to do this. I think that it really helps push that, this is something that's as a state. That's because it is something that's communities.
Of the bylaws, it's the zoning bylaws. Zoning bylaws are section 145.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's part 3, which is the zoning bylaw. I can send you, I can share this section with you guys.
Oh, okay, all right. I just,
Because it does take a while to try to find it in there.
if I don't know where to look, I know, I struggle with that anyways, my computer, I'm having trouble with my computer, I think I need a new computer. But yeah, that would be awesome if you could, thank you.
All right, that's 2.7, the discussion on affordability as children. All right, the next one is,
Go
Community
back to
Preservation
6.
Act. 2.6. The Community Preservation Act is on the ballot for November.
It is?
Yes, the petition was turned in.
Wow,
It'll be a ballot question. We, the Townsend Affordable Housing Trust, together with,
So the recreation.
the Recreation Committee, Commission, and I think they asked someone else to join us for this presentation. We are hosting, the Affordable Housing Trust is somewhere here. I have the paperwork. Oh, here. I turned this in. Actually, this should be not. For hosting it in the hall here,
Okay.
Memorial Hall. The only thing is, I am not going to be able to be present because I will not be in the States.
oh, that's great.
So I need to ask if one of you could attend to be the TAHT representative for the Community Preservation Act. And Bill Rideout is chairing the committee. I've gone to the committee meetings, the past couple of them for CPA.
Yeah,
And there will be signs coming. I guess next Monday is the next CPA meeting, but you just need to be there on the 26th. And so that I can tell Bill who, yeah,
I could be, a maybe. Because I have something that day with Martin Townsend, I don't know if I'm gonna get back. So let me, I could be a maybe.
okay.
I don't know, Dave, if you're,
I have to talk to them, I'm not sure.
yeah,
Maybe.
I could be a maybe. I probably can, I just have to,
Yeah, so it would be good if someone from the Housing Trust was there.
was there, yeah.
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 Hopefully a little better than the last presentation, you have to be present after.
I know, right? I know, I'm a little gun shy. I'm busy that night.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. We have, there are rules for reserving the hall, and so anyway. And it is in our 5-year plan to advocate for the community preservation act.
I know. I mean, yeah,
So anyway,
I know.
all right, so that's that for that. Bill is doing the, Bill Rideout is doing the presentation. You won't have to speak, you just have to
Just be that,
be
yeah.
here to represent
Yeah,
the
I know, because you know what?
there is a business person, I think from Shirley, who's
Oh.
going to, talk about how
did.
they benefit.
Yep.
And I think they might be trying to get someone else. Pepperell has a community preservation act. So,
Oh, that's a good idea.
who
What
also-
was the town that you sent that they had a whole list of things that they did? Was that Pepperell or Groton or what?
Groton has
Groton.
received millions. in
Yeah.
Was it
CPA.
Groton?
Groton.
Remember you sent us something that they kind of bullet pointed, look, we got this and this and this and this.
Yes. But anyway, I gave Bill everything and
He's got
then
that.
he's doing the PowerPoint. and-
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, yeah.
it's such a no-brainer that it is mind-boggling to me. There's just a mindset of people
Right.
who just feel like dollar more, no.
Right.
Yeah,
And they don't think long-term, they don't think about the benefit of the community and how family in a positive way. It's just another dollar? No.
yeah.
And that's the mindset.
Right.
And then there's
Mhm.
this total misunderstanding about what it will really actually cost somebody in terms of, the value of their house and their taxes and what it's actually gonna cost and what the benefit is so enormous compared to what you're putting out, So give up a couple of dinners or a few bottles of beer or wine or whatever. That's all it's gonna cost you.
Yeah.
No.
You know what, I think
It's
to a lot of
just-
people, it's almost like they're punitive. Like, not only am I saying no, it's because I don't want anybody else to have anything either. You know,
I don't know about that. I don't get that part. I get the
You know-
idea that, it's the government, the government's always
Yeah.
taking more and more and more. Now, you know what? To general, no, it's not even, I'm gonna think about this and have a dialogue, understand it, and then maybe I can constructively tell you why it's no.
Hmm.
It's just no. I don't like the idea of you reaching into my pocket
Hmm.
anymore.
I know, it's kind of crazy.
It's just,
Yeah. I just know, like, with the
I don't
schools
get
and the comments on the override, people are like, why should I pay for that kid to play sports after school? I don't care if there's no sports.
yeah.
It's like,
Why do we need a library? We don't need a library. We have computers. We have the internet. Why do we need a library?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's kind of, I don't know.
And then, by the way, that was an argument that went on for a while.
For the library?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, I was involved with the
You were
library.
a library trustee.
I know, I had nights, I thought I was gonna
I
be
mean,
tarred and feathered
again,
leaving
it's like-
town hall. But-
That was
You
20
know,
years ago.
Yeah.
But see,
25.
but see, now you look back and you go, look at all
Right.
and how great it is. And the kids that grew up in this town with the library, though as it is,
Yeah,
are so much better off. And it's
yeah,
the people, it's just humans are just very short-term thinkers.
I
you
know, because
and-
that, one of the big things for the library, because it's funny, I was thinking about this, one of the arguments was like, this whole, if you build it, they'll come, is that's not even gonna work. Because everyone is gonna have computers and no one's gonna be going to libraries. And I thought,
Literally,
that
that's,
library is so busy, but now I get concerned because people are like, why don't you just
Think of the
close the
library
library
app.
for a couple of days a week so
Wonderful.
we can have
Yeah,
trash
yes.
pickup? I'm like, oh my God.
I don't know
You
why I pay taxes for trash pickup. I have plenty of land. I could just dig a hole.
Be careful with that, David.
I'm talking me.
Moving on, so that's
I know.
CPA, so, let me know.
Yeah, I'll
We're
let you
just-
know. Yeah,
Yeah, so.
yeah.
okay.
I actually, I thought I was going to Boston and it's not, it's the next week.
Oh.
So yeah,
Maybe.
it still put me in as a maybe, but
Okay.
yeah.
Right. And, like, maybe we'll show up as
You
moral
can all
support.
go.
if we-
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
that's true.
Again, I gotta talk to them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so anyway, it's 7 PM and it's live
26.
and it's gonna be taped on that night.
Okay, good.
So-
I do just
And
want to note that
how is it being promoted so that people will know that it's happening?
Facebook pages. They're actually, Bill has already put out once on Facebook pages about this presentation.
when they dedicated the rail trail, I think they spoke about it. I think he got up and spoke about it.
Yeah, he
Thank
may have. So it'll be out on more just town Facebook pages, and then there are signs that are gonna be put up. More vote signs.
There won't be
than
something stuffed in everybody's mailbox, or that's not gonna happen.
We talked about that.
It's too much money.
It is a lot of money. So I don't know the exact result on that yet.
Maybe they can put,
There will be flyers.
the electronic billboard that sits out in the street.
Yeah.
And one at the Common, there's another one, up by, the ice cream place.
Mhm.
That wouldn't be a bad thing.
To advertise the presentation.
Just in case people start, there is another meeting here at 3.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if we're going to get kicked out or if Sabrina said she might move them downstairs to meeting room 2. I don't know,
Okay.
but
Well,
she
we're-
might come in and let us know.
Let us know.
Let me finish here, because we're almost to the
Okay.
executive session. The financial reports, did you guys all get that?
I think so. I didn't open it.
Yeah.
I'm sure we
Okay.
got a little bit more
So we
interest.
have that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else to say on that, Erin?
No, I'm still waiting for some more information.
Okay. Any announcements from,
What's maybe I missed it in the beginning. So where are we at with the forestry? Just like,
Oh.
he's reviewing it.
Yes, they're reviewing it right now.
And how long ago did you have that last conversation with
He
Kyle?
emailed me today
Oh, good.
saying I'm going to review it because I emailed saying, hi, haven't heard from you.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. So it's still in play. It's just.
Yes.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
just a year out from where we thought.
All right. Well,
There
like I say, trees are growing.
was a mandatory referral form that was sent about, let me pull up what the property is. I did not think that necessarily affected you all. 3 Ryan. It's for an accessory dwelling unit. So I did not think that that would necessarily affect the
Yeah.
trust, but I figure I'd let you know. I can send it around if you'd like to take a look at it and see if you would want to provide comment, but since it's not an affordable unit,
Yeah.
and it's just somebody adding an ADU to their home, I figure I would just let you all know that it is happening, and if you'd like, I can send you the mandatory referral form.
Okay. What, on 3 Ryan Road?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that we,
I know, I don't,
you
I
know,
mean, yeah.
do you want us to look at it? Do you want to look at it?
Probably not.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's anything in it.
There's nothing in it that.
I mean, they're in the
would-
same neighborhood as,
I don't
as our
think
land,
so.
but it's not, I don't think it's anything that, right?
Right.
That we have to,
Yeah,
you
Yeah, I can share this really quick. Just one second.
The meeting on the 12th, is that a Zoom meeting or is that here or how's that working?
the 12th is the joint with,
Yes.
and that I think is here and soon,
Okay, so you'll
So-
send a link out. We'll know.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
This is the proposed ADU, so it's just,
Oh, let's see.
That looks kind of nice. Between the house and the pool.
So where, the ADU is the addition?
yes, proposed addition.
Huh. Is it actually connected to the house? Looks like it is.
Looks like it is.
Yeah.
So that's like an in-law or something.
That's what I was
Yes,
thinking. Yeah, that looks like, is it an in-law
I-
thing?
yeah,
Is
I
it
think
a
that's
An
what
family?
ADU doesn't have to be freestanding, it can be
Yes.
connected.
Right.
to the house.
Yeah.
Is that it?
This is the layout of it, yes.
So that's 900 square feet, roughly?
Yes,
Or
although I
less.
think ours is actually 800 square feet.
Oh, it says 800 right now.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, wait, this whole thing, that's not the ADU unit. Is that the house?
This is the ADU, I believe. So the garage is probably separate.
Garage doesn't count because it's not a living space, not
Right.
heated, whatever.
So it looks like it's 28 by some other amount.
It's a nice little ADU.
Oh, If you're not counting the
That
sunroom,
looks
it's a little rectangle, it's a little square.
That's the ADU?
I know.
I think so, because this, first floor, new construction.
Garage,
Garage area.
kitchen, living.
I think that's the ADU. I don't know. I can't see. I
You
don't
think
know.
this is the ADU, or? Is this existing deck? So maybe they're just adding it into here?
Yeah, well, see, the top, the sunroom,
That was in the other one
Yeah.
here. Yeah,
so that's probably it.
yeah, so I think that this is probably the. Yeah.
Is there a bedroom? There's no bedroom.
Is there anything else?
That can't-
Is there-
that
is
can't
there
be
another-
right.
There's
Yeah.
something,
That's can't be right.
Yeah. Where's the original one with the,
This is all just.
that's our.
okay, so the proposed addition is behind the garage, right? That one's
Yeah,
Right
next to
so
the
let's see.
sunroom.
next
This
to
is
the
what it
sunroom?
currently is.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
Okay.
they're just adding it on up here, I guess.
yeah, in that
Okay.
space. So the sunroom will be next to the ADU.
That's the way it looks.
So it must just be coming off, yeah, so the sunroom is here, so and this must be the garage, so it's just coming off like that. So we're
Yeah.
looking at it sideways, I guess. This must be turned.
Is there another page? There's
No,
another
this is
page.
it.
Is there another floor? Is it one floor?
This is all
I know,
that was
I think that's the house, because there's the garage. Is it, and there's the
Yeah,
sunroom.
yeah.
So it must be behind the
It's
garage.
like it's not on there.
I think there's another story. It has to be. with
Yeah, I
bedroom.
agree.
Yeah, plus if that's like 28 by.
That only looks like 400 square feet anyway, 450. That's only half of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the other
Yeah.
thing's just a mandatory referral form.
Okay,
So,
Interesting.
well, we're knowing that. All right,
Okay.
all right, so,
Were we gonna, I thought we were going to host the gentleman from the ever expanding tree cutting on this property.
okay, that's
What-
the executive session that's coming up. So, we've talked about, we've done all the correspondence. We have a joint meeting on the 12th. We'll confirm our meeting on the 16th after we meet in executive session, and we have a meeting scheduled for October 21st. at 1 p.m.
21st?
Yeah, October 21st, but perhaps September 16th, but we'll talk about that in executive session.
Okay.
So I need a motion, I need someone to read what is there to move into executive session and adjourn from executive session.
so we technically have to reopen the public meeting afterwards, correct?
No, we can adjourn from executive
We
session.
can? Okay.
Yes,
So you want me to read this?
yes.
Okay,
I move that,
I move that we go into,
Adjourn.
oh wait, we're adjourning our meeting first?
no, our meeting is still open, but we will adjourn from executive session.
Okay, so I'm just gonna read this, right?
Okay.
Right, Sia? Okay, I make a motion that we, for executive session pursuant to open meeting law 30A, section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares. Do you want me to? give the address? Regarding 34 Haynes Road property.
Is there and we will adjourn from,
And we will adjourn at the end of discussion
from executive
from
session.
executive session.
Second.
All those in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye. All right. And with that, Hartley, you may stop the recording.
Thank you.
We will be going into executive session. Thank you very much.
You're very
And
welcome.
we'll adjourn from there.